Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Shocker! President Biden gets a little legal heat on student loan forgiveness, and he rolled back his policy affecting millions of borrowers who now are not going to get relief. Neoliberalism at its finest. So, you have Nebraska and several other states have launched a lawsuit against Biden and his administration, against his student loan relief, which is $10,000 for all borrowers who have federal student loans, and $20,000 for those with Pell Grants. The Nebraska Attorney General joins 5 other states in suing the Biden administration to stop student loan cancellation. The Justice Department says it has legal authority to forgive debt under a 2003 law. College borrowers banking on President Joe Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in student loan debt hit a potential snag Thursday when Nebraska and 5 other states filed a lawsuit challenging the Department of Education's authority to do so. Theirs is the second major lawsuit filed by conservatives trying to stop the student loan forgiveness plan. The first came Tuesday from a lawyer in Indiana who argues he would be forced to pay state taxes on student loan forgiveness he didn't seek. Of course, this is nonsense. The government, we aren't paying for other people's student loan relief. That's nonsense. If you know anything about modern monetary theory, this is just the government creates the money, and basically this would just be revenue that is no longer coming back in to the government, not folks on the state level, taxpayers on the state level paying for other American student debt relief. That's all nonsense. But after just a couple lawsuits, the Biden administration, instead of going to court to fight this, instead of, I don't know, making it a political issue and pointing out as a campaign issue for the midterms that Republicans are very happy to give tax breaks to their wealthy donors, so are the Democrats, that the Republicans are very happy to give tax breaks to corporations, that the Republicans are very happy to deregulate the entire economy, to enrich their big oil donors, big pharma, Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. Instead, right away, the Biden administration has folded like a cheap tent. Biden administration scales back student loan forgiveness plan as states sue. The Biden administration scaled back eligibility for its student loan forgiveness plan Thursday. The same day, 6 Republican-led states sued President Biden in an effort to block his student loan forgiveness plan from taking effect. Borrowers whose federal student loans are guaranteed by the government but held by private lenders will now be excluded from receiving debt relief. Around 770,000 people will be affected by the change, according to an administration official. There's discrepancies in what the administration is putting out there. This is from Anna with NerdWallet. Biden's reversal of cancellation eligibility for student loan borrowers with commercially held FFELP debt means a potential 4.06 million. So over 4 million borrowers miss out on relief among a total of 9 million borrowers. So 4 million borrowers are now not going to get relief because the Biden administration, and Biden, who, by the way, by all reports, was never even for canceling any debt at all. He did it because he campaigned on it, and his team pushed him that you have to do something, because if we do nothing, it's not going to be good politically. Biden is an old school guy. He is totally fine giving, when I say old school, I mean an old school corrupt Democrat. He was totally fine as the senator from Delaware. They called him the senator from MBNA, the bank in Delaware. Totally fine giving goodies to the banks. Totally fine deregulating Wall Street. Totally fine repealing Glass-Steagall, which led to the 2008 financial crash. Totally fine with NAFTA and other deals that offshored our jobs to China, Mexico, and other countries and crushed the unions that Biden claims he's a union guy. Don't get me started. But as soon as there's a little bit of a legal challenge, poof, the Department of Education, quietly, by the way, on their website, changed the policy that if you have private loans, still federal loans, but issued by private companies, you're not getting any relief. I mean, it's just pathetic. Not shocking at all, but absolutely pathetic. And it just shows you a lot of what you see by Biden, the Democratic Party, their sycophants and media allies at CNN, MSNBC, is theater. Like I said, when he canceled the $10,000 for all borrowers and the $20,000 for those with Pell Grants, it's something. I don't want to minimize it because it's going to help millions of people. But, this is neoliberalism. He could have done the whole thing. There's nothing stopping him from canceling all of it. If he does anything, forget student loans, whatever he does to help people, there's going to be legal challenges by Republicans, by corporate interests. If Bernie Sanders were president, as I've always said, we wouldn't just magically have Medicare for all. He would take executive actions, which would definitely expand Medicare, would get us closer to Medicare for all, because it certainly wouldn't move through Congress quickly, but it would be challenged in the courts. But do you think Bernie Sanders, after expanding Medicare to basically a Medicare for all, would simply start tinkering with the policy and scaling it back because of some legal challenges? No, he'd fight it, not just in the courts, but on the political terrain. He would set up the framing and storm these Republicans, figuratively speaking, with look who they're going to court to defend. Not you, the people that are buried in healthcare debt, or in this case, student loan debt. They're going to court to protect the companies, the private companies that have been vulturing on our young people and middle-aged people too, who are simply trying to get an education. Biden, his administration, fold like a cheap tent. Their excuse, well, if we peel back this provision that is helping over 4 million borrowers, this provision for borrowers who have private student loan debt that is technically federally owned student loan debt, but issued by private companies, their reasoning is if they scale this back, it makes it harder, the legal challenges harder for these companies and states that are suing. But you want to know what? How about you fight? You go to court. You make it a legal issue and a political issue, even if you're going to lose. But they're not going to do that because, frankly, he never really believed in the policy. That's the truth. He doesn't believe in the policy. I want to show this tweet from Public Citizen. They do great stuff. Breaking, Republicans are suing the Biden administration to block student loan relief for millions of people. The GOP canceled, what is that? 1.9 trillion in taxes for rich people, but suddenly canceling student debt is a problem? Give us a break. Why is it that Public Citizen, which is a great group, they have been standing up against corporate power for many years. They have 534,000 Twitter followers. Why is it that Public Citizen knows how to do political framing and actually fight the Republican Party, but Joe Biden and his team, literally on the same day that there was some legal challenges, immediately fold? You could call it spineless, but you could also call it actually they're doing what they wanted to do in the first place, and they're just making excuses for why they're doing it, i.e. Biden, again, by all reports, you could look into it, he was hemming and hawing on even giving any student loan debt relief. He didn't like the precedent that it set up in terms of people took out these loans. If we forgive 10,000, they're going to ask for more. It's a bad precedent. Biden viewed it. New York Times reported on this and on others. His administration told him, well, you kind of campaigned on it, and we're already in the toilet among young people. Biden's polls had gone way down among young people in terms of the amount of young people who voted for him. He was in the 20s in a lot of polls in terms of age 18 to 29. Now, obviously, people above 30 have student loan debt, but obviously young people are predominantly affected by student loan debt. But it just shows you all the marketing, all the corporate media propaganda that goes into propping up these crumbs that President Biden has given the people. It's all theater, because even with those crumbs, he immediately took away a lot of those crumbs. And I'm sure people watching will say, devil's advocate, well, what do you want, Jordan? He's trying to save the overall relief for the majority, by peeling back this provision for people who have federally guaranteed loans, but through a private company. He's peeling that back to protect legally protect the broader amount of relief. Yeah, I mean, you could say that if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but why immediately fold like a cheap tent? Why not go to court? Why not fight it? Why not fight these Republican states? It's good politically. It shows you're fighting. It shows the over 4 million people who are now going to lose the relief that they thought they were going to get. It shows them that you're fighting on their behalf. Imagine for a second whether you're an older person in that bucket or a younger person that was going to get either $10,000 or $20,000 in student loan debt relief. You might have already made plans, life-changing plans based on this, literally life jacket you just got, this rescue you just got. You might have made plans to, I don't know, quit your job. You might have made plans to, I don't know, try to start a company. You might have made plans to, I don't know, travel. You might have made plans to name your pick. This might have been the difference. This debt relief might have been the difference between you and your spouse now saying, all right, let's go ahead and try to, start a family. Or let's go ahead and, now we could start looking for homes. And then the rug gets pulled right under you and, oh, poof, that $20,000 is back because the president folded like a cheap tent. So this is what happens, and this is the difference for whatever people want to say, because some people have fallen out of favor with, Bernie Sanders and other progressives. Make no mistake, if Bernie Sanders was president, he would have canceled all of it, and he would have canceled all of it knowing the legal challenges are going to flood in right away on student loan debt. If he did executive actions for Medicare for all, free public college, he would have known I'm going to be immersed in legal challenges. But you want to know something? You fight. You get the best lawyers you could get, and you fight it. And even if you lose legally, it shows you're a fighter. It also shows the people which side you are on and which side they are on. Absolutely pathetic. And by the way, let's not pretend he folded like a cheap tent in one day and peeled back relief for over 4 million borrowers. What's not to say they won't start peeling back some of the rest of the aid for the overall bucket of borrowers, using as a rationalization, well, if we peel back more, this group of people that got relief, then legally we'll be in better shape. So if you are somebody who believed you were getting relief, pay attention, because I'm not sure this is the last of it in terms of the changes that will be made to Biden's student relief policy. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.